forests, gardens, trees, fresh fruit. There's something intrinsic nature about any living being to heal itself of illness, disease, injury, and the returning of the body to its natural balanced state. And there's something about when you touch a tree or you're in a garden and working with the land or touching food that your body can consume. I don't know if most people realize, but the only thing you actually cellularly becomes you is food or plants. So that sort of ignites this energy in our body. So when we smell it or when we're around it, it does feel nourishing, even when we haven't even consumed it yet. And I think that also sort of is this spark of joy and insight that needed to really feel like we're positively nourishing ourselves to change the world around us and to nourish us to move forward in the world. I really love to spend time like when I'm drinking my vegetable juices or eating my fresh fruit or I'm in nature. I love to touch trees. I know that sounds so typical California girl, but there is something when you have this interaction with nature or with the food that you consume that is grown that really translates into our body and it makes us whole. Like, again, there's nothing that becomes us except for food. And that gives us this concept of we spend time. So even if you can't be out in nature and be in a rainforest or touching a tree, you can touch the food that you hold as it's natural, that's grown, and you can smell that, and that creates this sensation of what is going to be and nourish your body. And it gives us a sense of energy and positivity around who we are and how we nourish ourselves, how we're adorning our body with nourishment and taking care of ourselves. And if you think of a garden, to really grow amazing vegetables or fruits or nourish yourself with something that feels so exciting to grow, you actually have to have the thing that we don't want, which is manure. Lots of manure. It needs to smell really bad and look really bad. And the more you have, and usually the smellier it is, the more that garden will grow the best vegetables and the best things that you want in your garden. Or your flowers are going to bloom to be really beautiful. Well, what if we use that same kind of thing in our life of growing and taking the manure of our life and helping us to bloom to be the people we're meant to be? That's one of the things. My life has been chock full of the smelliest kind of manure that I can imagine you can have. And it's interesting is now that my life is really blooming into being the kind of life that I want. And what helps remind me that is this in tune nature thing. I try to spend as much time as I can, whether it's walking in a park in the city or if I'm out in nature or in a forest or even along the ocean. There's all these trees that I try to spend time with as well, not just in the ocean, that give me this sense of connection to nourishing life, plant life, and helps make me think about how to be grounded in my body. So I support you in taking some time in nature where it's either a mountain or a park or taking some fresh fruit and smelling it, making sure you have vegetables that feel really healthy. And then anything that your mind wants to think about sort of in a negative, the manure of your life, how can you use that to grow the garden of what you want? And so when you're spending some time in nature, maybe thinking about that, like think about how expansive nature can feel, or when you're working in your garden, how can you take the manure that's in your mind and help that grow to be the flower that you want to be, the vegetable that you want to be. That's an awful analogy. But let's just say you want to be a tomato plant. How do you be the best tomato plant that you possibly want to be? So go harvest your garden of joy by taking anything and everything that has made you who you are and experience that. And being in a little bit of nature will help do that.